power of not knowing. Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you the best thing you could do right now is to stop waiting for everything to be perfect? The secret to success isn't knowing every step of the journey. It's having the courage to begin even when the path isn't clear. Are you ready to embrace the power of not knowing? Because that's where your true potential begins. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of something great, but you don't have all the answers. You're unsure, maybe even scared, and the uncertainty feels overwhelming. But here's the truth. Not knowing is not a curse, it's a gift. It's the spark that pushes you to grow, to act, and to step into the unknown with courage. The best things in life happen when you let go of the need for certainty and embrace the mystery of what's ahead. In this video, we'll explore 10 powerful ideas to show you how the gift of not knowing can unlock your potential and lead you to success. From embracing discomfort to taking consistent action, from learning to trust the process to understanding that failure is part of the journey, every step of the way will challenge you to think differently. You'll learn how uncertainty can be the fuel for your growth, your creativity, and your ultimate success. So let's dive in. You ever met somebody who thinks they know everything? I mean everything. You could be talking about anything, business, relationships, fixing a car, flying a plane, and they got an answer like they wrote the manual. You mention a book, they read it twice. You talk about an opportunity, and they already knew about that. They walk around like they got life figured out. But let me tell you something, the most dangerous place you can be in life is thinking you know everything. Because the moment you think you know it all, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you stop winning. Now, don't get me wrong, knowing things is great. You need knowledge to succeed. But do you know what's even more powerful? Not knowing. See, the problem ain't ignorance. The problem is refusing to learn. Think about it. Every successful person, every millionaire, every innovator, they all started out not knowing. The only difference between them and the ones still stuck, they embraced not knowing. They didn't let the fear of looking foolish stop them from asking, learning, growing. They understood that ignorance ain't a curse. It's an invitation to step up, to explore, to level up. But most people, they act like admitting they don't know is a weakness. They fake it. They pretend. They avoid situations where they might not have all the answers. And guess what? That's exactly what keeps them stuck. See, life ain't about what you already know. It's about what you're willing to learn. The smartest people in the world aren't the ones with all the answers. They're the ones with the most questions. And let me tell you something. Asking dumb questions is better than pretending you're smart and staying broke. Confidence is great, but confidence without knowledge, that's just ego with a microphone. And ego will have you out here making the wrong moves, chasing the wrong dreams, and wondering why nothing is working. You don't need to know everything to be successful. You just need to be willing to learn anything. You ever notice the most successful people never stop learning? They read, they ask, they seek knowledge, they stay curious. Meanwhile, the ones who know it all are still struggling, still blaming the world, still wondering why their situation never changes. See, the fear of not knowing is what holds people back. Some of y'all are stuck right now because you're afraid to look like a beginner. You're afraid to be the dumbest person in the room. Everything you want, success, wealth, growth, is locked behind something you haven't learned yet. And today we're going to talk about how to embrace that, how to use the power of not knowing to take your life to the next level. Number one, imagination is an invitation. Most people hear the word ignorance and think it's an insult. They take it as a sign of weakness, something to be ashamed of. But let me tell you, ignorance ain't a curse. It's an invitation to grow, to learn, to explore new possibilities. The real curse is acting like you know it all and shutting yourself off from the lessons life is trying to teach you. See, every single person who has ever succeeded in anything started not knowing. Every business leader, every innovator, every game changer, they all began with a long list of things they didn't know. The difference between them and the ones who stay stuck is that they weren't afraid to admit it. They didn't see ignorance as a wall. They saw it as a door. And they had the courage to open it. But a lot of people, they stay locked out of opportunities because they're too afraid to look uninformed. They think saying, I don't know, makes them look weak, so they pretend. They fake it. They nod their heads like they understand, when deep down they're lost. And guess what? That's what actually keeps them weak. Because when you fake knowing, you block learning, and when you block learning, you block growing. Now, I get it. Nobody likes feeling like they're behind. Nobody enjoys being the person in the room who doesn't have the answers. But here's the truth. That feeling of not knowing is your greatest asset. That discomfort, that's your mind telling you it's time to grow. The people who embrace that feeling, the ones who lean into it, ask the questions, put in the work, those are the people who move forward. Think about a child learning to walk. At first, they don't know how. They fall, they stumble, they look ridiculous. But do they quit? No, because they don't care about looking silly. They don't let not knowing stop them. And eventually that ignorance turns into skill. But somewhere along the way, grown folks forget that lesson. Instead of admitting what they don't know and working to fix it, they avoid it. They stick to what's comfortable. And that's why most people never level up, because they never step up to the challenge of learning. Let me tell you something. The biggest opportunities in your life will come from the things you don't know yet. Your next job, your next business, your next breakthrough, it's all on the other side of something you haven't learned yet. So instead of running from ignorance, start treating it like a roadmap. Let it guide you to the knowledge you need. This is why the most successful people never stop learning. They don't just rely on what they knew yesterday. They're always searching for what they need to know tomorrow. And that brings me to the next point. Stop acting like you know everything, because the moment you do, you close the door on your own success. Number two, stop acting like you know everything. You ever met somebody who just can't admit they don't know something? No matter what the topic is, finance, business, relationships, quantum physics, they got an answer, whether it's right or not. You could tell them something brand new, something they've never heard before, and instead of saying, oh, that's interesting, they hit you with, oh yeah, I already knew that. That's the kind of person who stays stuck. Because let me tell you something. The moment you start acting like you know everything, you stop growing. You shut the door on new knowledge, on new opportunities, on elevating your life. And the crazy part, the people who pretend they know it all ain't fooling nobody but themselves. See, life is like a book. And every time you learn something new, you turn a page. But when you think you already got the whole book memorized, you stop reading. You stop turning pages. And when you stop turning pages, you miss out on the whole next chapter of your life. Now, some folks fake it because they're afraid of looking weak. They think saying, I don't know, makes them sound less intelligent. But let me tell you, the smartest people in the world, they ask the most questions. They don't sit there pretending. They find the right people, they learn, they upgrade themselves. Look at the most successful people in business, in leadership, in any field. They don't walk around acting like they got all the answers. They surround themselves with people who do. They build teams. They seek mentorship. They stay humble enough to keep learning. Meanwhile, the know-it-alls are out here making mistake after mistake, too proud to ask for help, too stubborn to listen, and guess what? That's why they never move forward. Listen, there's no shame in not knowing something. The real shame is pretending you do and missing out on the chance to learn. You ever wonder why some people seem to keep growing, keep winning, keep leveling up? It's because they stay open. They let go of their ego and make room for knowledge. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you start heading backward. The problem with acting like you know everything is that it makes you unteachable. And if you're unteachable, you're unreachable. No new skills, no new wisdom, no new opportunities, just stuck in the same place year after year while the people willing to learn pass you by. So ask yourself, are you growing or are you just pretending? Are you learning or are you stuck in the same cycle, saying the same things, making the same mistakes? Because the people who win, they don't fake knowledge, they chase it. They don't let pride keep them from progress. And that leads me to the next point, the power of asking dumb questions. Because sometimes the dumbest question can lead to the smartest answer. Number 3, the power of asking dumb questions. You ever held back from asking a question because you were afraid of looking stupid? You sat there knowing you didn't understand, but you kept quiet because you didn't want people looking at you funny? Let me tell you something. The dumbest question in the world is the one you never ask. See, people are so worried about looking foolish that they'd rather stay confused than risk embarrassment. And that's exactly why so many folks stay stuck. They're too busy protecting their pride instead of building their knowledge. But let's be real. Nobody starts out knowing everything. Even the smartest people had to ask dumb questions at some point. Every billionaire, every CEO, every innovator, they all had moments where they didn't know something. The difference? They asked. They didn't let their fear of looking silly stop them from getting the answers they needed. Now, here's the funny thing about dumb questions. Most of the time, other people are wondering the same thing. You ever been in a meeting or a classroom, confused out of your mind, but too scared to raise your hand, and then somebody else speaks up and asks the exact question you were thinking, and suddenly everybody breathes a sigh of relief because they were lost too. See, asking questions doesn't make you look dumb. It makes you look serious about learning. It shows that you're paying attention, that you're invested in understanding, that you're humble enough to admit you don't know. And trust me, people respect that. But the ones who sit there nodding their heads, pretending they get it, they're the ones who stay confused, and then they go out into the world making mistake after mistake, all because they were too afraid to ask a simple question. Listen, life is a classroom. And every experience is a lesson, but you can't learn if you're too scared to raise your hand. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history came from people who asked questions others were too afraid to ask. Scientists, inventors, entrepreneurs, they didn't just accept things the way they were. They had the courage to be curious. And here's the truth. Curiosity is the key to success. The more you ask, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the more doors open for you. So the next time you catch yourself hesitating, thinking maybe I shouldn't ask this, remember this. The people who ask the most questions are the ones who go the farthest. Because confidence without knowledge, that's just ego. And that brings me to my next point. Confidence without knowledge will write checks your skills can't cash. Number 4. Confidence without knowledge will write checks your skills can't cash. Confidence is a beautiful thing. It can open doors, command respect, and make people believe in you. But let me tell you something. Confidence without knowledge is dangerous. It's like writing a check with no money in the bank. Sooner or later, somebody's going to cash it. And when they do, you're going to be overdrawn. See, we live in a world where people are told, just be confident, believe in yourself. And that's great until that confidence is built on thin air. Because let me tell you, belief alone won't save you when it's time to prove yourself. You ever met somebody who talks a big game but can't back it up? They walk into a room acting like the smartest person there, making big claims, but the moment they're asked to actually do something, they fall apart. Because confidence got them through the door, but competence is what keeps you in the room. Confidence should be built on preparation, practice, and real knowledge. If you're stepping into a new space, don't just fake it till you make it, study until you succeed. Be the person who not only believes in themselves, but has the skills to back it up. Now, I'm not saying don't be bold. I'm not saying don't take risks. But if you're stepping up to the plate, you better know how to swing. Because life will throw you fastballs. And if you're out here bluffing instead of learning, you're going to strike out fast. See, confidence alone might get you the job interview. but knowledge is what gets you the job. Confidence might get you a meeting with an investor, but knowledge is what gets your business funded. Confidence might get you a first date, but knowledge of how to treat people is what builds a real relationship. And here's the truth. People can smell fake confidence. You might impress them for a minute, but the moment you can't deliver, they'll see right through you. And let me tell you, losing credibility is one of the hardest things to recover from. So instead of just acting confident, become someone worth being confident about. Develop real skills. Put in the time, do the work, and guess what? Real confidence comes from preparation. When you know you've studied, when you know you've trained, when you know you put in the hours, confidence comes naturally. You don't have to fake it because you've actually earned it. So ask yourself, are you genuinely prepared, or are you just hoping nobody notices you're faking it? Because life has a way of exposing unearned confidence real quick. And that brings me to the next point. Real success isn't about looking the part. It's about becoming the part. And the only way to do that is through relentless learning. Number 5, real success isn't about looking the part. It's about becoming the part. We live in a world where everybody wants to look successful before they actually become successful. People out here renting luxury cars, flashing fake designer clothes, buying followers, and talking like they're already millionaires. But let me tell you something. Looking like you got it and actually having it are two different things. Real success isn't about the image. It's about the substance. It's about putting in the work when nobody's watching, about mastering your craft before you expect a reward. The problem is most people want the reward before they've done the work. See, you can post all the motivational quotes, take all the success selfies, and act like you got it all figured out. But when the real test comes, when it's time to perform, to deliver, to prove yourself, you can't fake that. You either have the skills or you don't. Now, don't get me wrong. Presentation matters. Carry yourself with confidence. Dress well. Walk into the room like you belong there. But don't make the mistake of thinking that appearance is a substitute for ability. Because if you put more effort into looking successful than you do into becoming successful, you're setting yourself up for failure. Let me tell you something. Real winners don't have to announce themselves. They don't have to fake it because their results speak for them. They don't chase validation because they know they're building something real. See, people waste so much time trying to impress others that they forget to improve themselves. They're busy curating a highlight reel instead of actually putting in the hours. They want the title without the talent, the money without the mindset, the respect without the results. But life don't work like that. Real success comes from doing the work in silence. It comes from learning, failing, adjusting, improving. It's about building the skills, not just building the image. And here's the best part. When you actually put in the work, you don't have to fake it. When you've really studied, practiced, and prepared, you don't need to act like you belong in the room. You belong there for real. So ask yourself, are you spending more time looking the part or becoming the part? Are you chasing an image or are you building real value? Because the people who chase images fade away, but the people who build real substance last forever. And that brings me to the next point. There's only one way to truly grow, and that's by stepping into the unknown. Because comfort is the enemy of progress. Number 6, comfort is the enemy of progress. You ever notice how people love comfort? They love routines, safe zones, things that feel familiar. And look, I get it. Comfort feels good. It's cozy, it's predictable, but let me tell you something. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Nothing great was ever built in the comfort zone. No millionaire, no visionary, no history maker got where they are by staying in a place that felt safe. Growth only happens when you step outside of what you already know and push yourself into the unknown. See, comfort feels like a blessing, but if you stay in it too long, it becomes a trap. It's like sitting in a warm bath. It feels nice at first, but stay in it too long and the water turns cold. Suddenly, that thing that once felt relaxing is now holding you back, keeping you stuck. Some people never grow because they refuse to be uncomfortable. They refuse to take risks. They refuse to do something new, something difficult, something that challenges them. And as a result, they stay exactly where they are. Year after year, same job, same income, same struggles, same complaints. But the people who win in life, they seek discomfort. They know that the best version of themselves is waiting on the other side of fear. They know that if they're too comfortable, they're not growing. Think about the most successful people in the world. Every one of them had to go through moments of uncertainty, struggle, and doubt. Every business owner had to risk something. Every athlete had to push past exhaustion. Every leader had to step into a situation they weren't fully prepared for, but they did it anyway because they knew that's where the real progress happened. See, when you do something new, whether it's starting a business, learning a new skill, or stepping into a leadership role, you're going to feel uncomfortable. That's normal. That's part of the process. But instead of running from it, you need to lean into it. Because let me tell you, growth never happens inside your comfort zone. The muscles don't grow unless you push them. The mind doesn't expand unless you challenge it. The life you want doesn't come to you. You have to step outside of what's easy and go get it. Now, here's the thing. Most people don't like feeling uncomfortable. That's why they stay small. They don't like feeling like a beginner, like they don't know what they're doing. But let me remind you, every expert was once a beginner. Every master was once a student. The only way to level up is to embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. So ask yourself, are you living in your comfort zone or are you stepping into your growth zone? Because the people who stay comfortable, they stay the same. But the people who embrace the challenge, they go places. And that brings me to the next point. Growth isn't just about what you gain, it's also about what you're willing to leave behind. Because some things and some people can't go with you to the next level. Number 7, some things and some people can't go with you to the next level. One of the hardest truths about success is this: you can't take everybody with you. See, when you start growing, when you start changing, when you start leveling up, there are going to be people, friends, family, even people you love, who won't be able to come with you. Not because you don't care about them, not because you're better than them, but because they're not ready to grow with you. And let me tell you, that's one of the most painful parts of success. See, people love to talk about the grind, the hustle, the hard work. But what they don't talk about is the loss, the friends who stop supporting you, the family that doesn't understand why you're changing, the people who start acting different the moment you start making moves. But let me tell you something. You can't hold yourself back just to make other people comfortable. You can't dim your light just because it makes someone else uncomfortable. If you want to reach the next level, you have to be willing to let go of the things and sometimes the people that are keeping you stuck. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying cut everybody off. I'm not saying you should turn your back on the people who matter, but I am saying you need to recognize who's growing with you and who's trying to hold you back. Some people only love the old version of you, the one who played small, the one who didn't take risks, the one who didn't challenge them. The moment you start changing, they get uncomfortable. Because your growth is a mirror to their stagnation. They start saying things like, man, you've changed. You think you're better than us now? Why are you working so hard? Just take it easy. And here's the truth. You have changed. That's the whole point. You're supposed to change. Growth requires change. And not everybody is going to be okay with that. Now, some people will see your growth and get inspired. They'll start leveling up too. Those are the people you bring with you. Those are the people who belong in your next chapter. But others, they'll try to pull you back. They'll make you feel guilty for wanting more. And those are the ones you have to be willing to leave behind. Because success isn't just about what you gain, it's about what you're willing to sacrifice. You can't take dead weight with you to the top. So ask yourself, Who in your life is pushing you forward and who is pulling you back? Because if you're serious about growth, you have to be willing to make that distinction. And that brings me to my next point. Not everyone will support you, and that's okay. Because when you stop seeking approval, you start gaining real power. Number 8, when you stop seeking approval, you start gaining real power. One of the biggest reasons people never reach their full potential is because they're too worried about what others think. They're stuck waiting for permission. They want to chase a dream, but they're waiting for their family to approve. They want to take a risk, but they're scared their friends will judge them. They want to level up, but they don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. And so they hesitate, they hold back. They keep playing small, not because they're not capable, but because they're too afraid of other people's opinions. But let me tell you something. The minute you stop seeking approval, you start gaining real power. See, too many people are out here living somebody else's version of success. They're making choices based on what will make them look good, what will get them applause, what will keep everyone around them happy. But the truth is, if you have to shrink yourself to fit in, you're in the wrong crowd. Let me ask you something. What would you do if you weren't afraid of judgment? Would you start that business? Would you change careers? Would you finally take that leap of faith? Because the only thing stopping most people isn't lack of talent or intelligence or opportunity. It's the fear of what people will say. But let me tell you, nobody who is truly winning in life is sitting around judging you. The people who criticize the most, the ones who doubt you, laugh at you, tell you it'll never work, those are the ones who never had the courage to chase their own dreams. See, when you stop chasing approval, you start making decisions based on what's right for you, not what looks good to others. And that's when you start to move with real power. Because real confidence doesn't come from outside validation. It comes from knowing deep down that you are on the right path, even if nobody else sees it yet. So what if people don't believe in you? So what if they laugh? So what if they don't understand? They don't have to understand your vision because it wasn't given to them, it was given to you. And let me tell you something, the moment you stop waiting for approval is the moment you start walking into your real purpose. So ask yourself, are you making choices for you or are you making them for applause? Because if you keep chasing approval, you'll always be controlled by other people's opinions. But if you learn to move without it, that's when you become truly unstoppable. And that brings me to my next point. Success doesn't come from getting approval. It comes from taking action. Because all the belief in the world means nothing if you don't put in the work. Number 9, belief without action is just a wish. Believing in yourself is powerful. It's where everything starts. But let me tell you something, belief alone won't get you anywhere. See, we live in a world where people love to talk about their dreams. They love to say things like, one day I'm going to start my business. One day I'm going to get in shape. One day I'm going to take that risk. But one day ain't a day on the calendar. You can believe in yourself all you want. But if you're not putting in the work, it's just a wish. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't come from thinking about it. It comes from doing something about it. See, there are 2 types of people in this world. The dreamers, the ones who talk, wish, and wait. The doers, the ones who take action, make moves, and build something real. And let me tell you, life rewards the doers. You don't get in shape by believing you can run a marathon. You get in shape by training, step by step, every day. You don't build a business by believing you'll be successful. You build it by showing up, solving problems, putting in the work. You don't achieve greatness by believing you deserve it. You achieve it by earning it. See, too many people think they need to feel ready before they take action. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect conditions. But let me tell you, there is no perfect time. The people who win in life are the ones who start before they feel ready. They take the first step, even when they're scared. They start the business even when they don't know everything. They make the move even when it's uncomfortable. Because here's the truth. Clarity comes from action, not from waiting. If you wait until you feel 100% ready, you'll be waiting your whole life. But if you take action, even small action, you start building momentum. And once you have momentum, you become unstoppable. Now, I'm not saying belief doesn't matter, it does. But belief without action is empty. You have to prove to yourself that you mean it. You say you want success, show it. You say you want change, move toward it. You say you want to live differently, take the first step. Because the world doesn't give handouts to people who sit back and wish. It rewards the ones who step up and make things happen. So ask yourself, are you just believing or are you actually doing? Because the ones who take action are the ones who build the life they want. And that brings me to my final point. All the action in the world won't matter if you don't stay consistent. Because success isn't built in a day, it's built daily. Number 10, success isn't built in a day, it's built daily. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants the big house, the dream job, the financial freedom. But let me tell you something. Success ain't a one-time event. It's not something you stumble upon. It's something you build every single day. See, people love to look at success like it's magic. Like one day you just wake up and everything is perfect. But that's not how it works. Success isn't built in a day, it's built daily. It's built in the early mornings when nobody's watching. It's built in the late nights when you're tired, but you keep going. It's built in the moments when you feel like quitting, but you push through anyway. See, people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they're not consistent. They start something, but the moment it gets hard, they quit. They set goals, but when motivation fades, they stop. They take the first step, but when they don't see instant results, they give up. But the truth is, the people who win aren't the smartest, the luckiest, or the most gifted. They're the ones who keep showing up. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking, but I don't see results yet. Let me tell you something. Just because you don't see the results right away doesn't mean the work isn't working. Imagine planting a seed. You water it every day, but for weeks, maybe months, nothing happens. You don't see anything growing. But underground, that seed is breaking open, the roots are spreading, the foundation is being built, and one day, when the time is right, that plant breaks through the ground. It looks like it grew overnight, but in reality, it was growing the whole time. That's how success works. It doesn't happen overnight, it happens over time. The problem is most people give up before they ever see the breakthrough. They quit too soon. They stop watering the seed because they don't see the results. But the ones who stay consistent, the ones who show up every day, no matter how they feel, they're the ones who succeed. Now, I ain't saying it's easy. There will be days when you don't feel like doing the work, days when you're tired, days when it seems like nothing is happening. But those are the days that separate the successful from the unsuccessful. Because motivation comes and goes, but discipline, that's what keeps you going. So ask yourself, are you showing up daily? Are you putting in the work even when it's hard, even when you don't see results yet? Because if you stay consistent, if you keep pushing, keep growing, keep building, one day you're going to look back and realize you built something incredible. And that brings me to my final message. All of this means nothing if you don't make the decision to start. Because the life you want is waiting on the other side of action. Conclusion, the life you want is waiting. Go get it. Everything we've talked about, getting uncomfortable, taking risks, leaving behind dead weight, letting go of approval, taking action and staying consistent. All of it comes down to one thing, you. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the life you want. If you want success, if you want change, if you want to break out of where you are, you have to make the decision to go get it. See, life is not waiting on you. You are waiting on you. Some of you have been stuck in the same place for years, waiting for the right time, waiting for permission, waiting for somebody to believe in you. But let me tell you something. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need perfect conditions. All you need is a decision to get uncomfortable, a decision to stop making excuses, a decision to start before you're ready, a decision to show up every single day. Because at the end of the day, the only thing separating successful people from everyone else isn't talent, it's action. The ones who make it aren't always the smartest, they're not always the most talented, but they are the ones who refuse to quit. They take the first step even when they're scared. They keep going even when they fail. They push through even when nobody believes in them, because they understand that success is built, not wished for. So the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep sitting on your dreams? Are you going to keep waiting for life to hand you something? Or are you going to step up, take control, and make it happen? Because let me tell you, you have everything you need right now. You don't need more time. You don't need more knowledge. You don't need more motivation. What you need is to start. So here's my challenge to you. Do something today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Take the first step, make the call, write the plan, start the business, make the move. Whatever it is that's been sitting in your heart, whatever it is that's been calling you, act on it. Because if you don't, you'll wake up 5 years from now in the same place, telling the same stories, making the same excuse. And let me tell you, that is not the life you were meant for. You were meant for more. You were meant for growth. You were meant for greatness. But nobody can do it for you. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop playing small. Because the life you want is already yours. All you have to do is go get it.